Hi everybody, I'm Dan Williams. On behalf of my partner Clint Bell, I'd like to welcome you to the campus of San Diego State University. We're right here at Tony Gwynn Stadium, site of today's Super Game of the Week. It's the CIF San Diego Section Division II High School Championship game. And Clint, we've got two top teams on the field ready to go at it.
Dan, these two teams came up through their seeding and beat out their seeds, the Dons being ranked 3rd in the Western League and the Monarchs taking 4th in the Grossmont League. Both teams upset the first-seeded teams to come here and play in the championships today.
Well, they're ready to play. We got a beautiful day for baseball. Blue skies, can't ask for better picture-perfect weather. Let's take a look at the rosters for both these teams. The Dons from the University of San Diego High School, they will be the home team. They'll be out on the field first, batting last. Let's take a look at their lineup. Batting first will be Nick Guerra. Nick Guerra batting first, wearing jersey number 1. David Lotz, jersey number 6. He'll be batting second. Number 3, that's the third in the lineup, Carlos Quinton. He's jersey number 4. Mark Pryor, the ace pitcher for this team. He's on the mound. He'll be batting cleanup of all things. Batting 5th is Eric Stanba, number 11. Clayne Collins will wear 8, and he'll be batting number 6. Zach Beach will be the designated hitter. He will be batting for Andy Marshall, the first baseman. Rounding out the lineup for the Dons is Matt Koken, wearing jersey number 10. Matt is the player who plays shortstop. And then batting 9th is Andrew Pedix. On the other side of the coin for the Monte Vista Monarchs, Brooks Conrad, shortstop, wearing 22. He'll be batting first. Troy Perdue will be batting second. Troy Perdue wearing number 14. He also plays third base. Joe Metropolis, number 21, he's the left fielder. The designated hitter for Royce Ring will be David Lutz. Wilton Reynolds, the right fielder, will bat number 5. David Lutzpike will be in the batter 6 position. Matt Asaro is 7, Jeff Hankla 8. Tobias Herrera is batting 9th, and coming up right to the plate right now, Clint, is number 22, the shortstop, Brooks Conrad.
You know, Dan, in a CIF championship game such as this, there's a lot of pressure. Pressure from the fans, pressure from your school, and definitely pressure among the players themselves. This is a big thing in high school. Coming to the CIF playoffs, it's time to get down and play some serious baseball for these guys.
Serious it is, and right at the mound, getting ready to take the first pitch from Mark Pryor is number 22. Again, that's Brooks Conrad. You know, we're probably going to see a lot of action on the ground today. Mark Pryor, really a dominating pitcher, likes to get a lot of balls down low and put his defense into play. We'll see what happens, Clint. First pitch just underway. We're getting started, and this is a beautiful day for baseball, and we are underway. Well, I'll tell you what right there, Clint. Anytime you throw the first ball for a strike, good things could be happening.
Mark Pryor, not only a terror on the mound, but at the bat as well.
Next ball is high, so now we got a count of 1 ball and 1 strike, no out. Top half of the first inning. We are just underway. Once again, the CIF San Diego Section Division II High School Championship game. Just low on that one, right below the knees. Count goes to 2 balls, 1 strike. Outfield is dead straight center. 360 in the alleys, 410 straight on center field. Down the line, it's 340, and this is a big field to play in. Mentioned Tony Gwynn Stadium. Tony Gwynn, big strike. Count goes full now, 3 balls, 2 strikes, and we'll see what Brooks Conrad can do on the payoff pitch. Strike 3 called inside corner, and Brooks Conrad goes down, so strikeout called, and that's out number 1 for the Dons.
Number 14, third base.
He got it right on the inside of that corner there, Clint.
Certainly did. Caught the batter, Brooks Conrad, looking, unfortunately. He was selecting his pitch ahead in the count. Got to take your pitch, call it as you see it.
Fouled up. Now at the plate is the third baseman, Troy Perdue. First ball fouled off, so it's no balls, 1 strikes with 1 out. Top half of the first inning, no score. Dons versus the Monarchs. Taken high. You know, you mentioned earlier, Clint, that both these teams were actually seated a little bit lower than the teams they beat off. There's a swing and a miss on a high one.
Coming up through the ranks, Dan, coming up out of your seed, playing out of your seed is a great morale booster, especially going into a championship game. You know you can come in, you know you can get the upset. On a side note, the Dons are 0-3 to teams in the Grossmont League, where the Monte Vista Monarchs come from.
That's going to be low, so now the count goes 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Troy Purdue doing a good job of working against Mark Pryor. Strike 3, that time it's a swing and a miss, and 2 up and 2 down for Mark Pryor, and right now in the top half of the first, he is sailing through this inning.
Number 21, left fielder, Joe Metropolis.
Joe Metropolis, the only freshman on the Monarchs team, going to come up here and get it done at the plate, get an early start on CIF career.
Strike called. Right in the groove is Mark Pryor. I tell you what, being a freshman and starting a CIF championship game, that's pretty awesome. Off-speed pitch is fouled off, so no balls, 2 strikes.
Mark Pryor certainly doing a good job of getting things done on the mound here early in the game. Dons showing up a pretty good defense. Everybody's tense, ready to play right at the throw of the pitch. But if Mark Pryor keeps this up, they're not going to get a lot of work out there in outfield. These batters are coming up 1, 2, 3, and they're going down just the same.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Pryor shaking off the calls from his catcher, Nick Guerra, and here comes the pitch. Breaking ball is high and outside, so the ball goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Metropolis, left fielder, trying to stay alive. Drive center field, having a beat on it and taking it easy is Carlos Quinton. So for the Dons, it's 3 up and 3 down, and they'll be coming up to bat.
Nobody left. At the end of half an inning, Monte Vista nothing, University nothing.
You know, I have to tell you, it's pretty tough. Well, if I'm, Bottom half of the first inning, and it's the Monte Vista Monarchs out on defense. And let's take a look at the position roster. Behind the plate catching is David Ludspike. Jeff Hankla is first base. Tobias Herrera will play second. Third base is Troy Purdue. Brooks Conrad shortstop. Left to right field, Joe Metropolis, Matasaro center, and Wilton Reynolds will be in right field. On the mound is Royce Ring, and is there anything we can talk about Royce Ring? Royce Ring, definitely a pitcher that's helped to get this team all the way to this championship game. Number 8, and you see him warming up right now. Left-handed pitcher, I tell you what, Clint, lefties are a commodity still. You got a left-handed pitcher in the high school, and it's really going to add a lot to the depth of your pitching staff.
And Royce Ring is certainly not done. Only a junior on the Monarch squad. He's got another year ahead of him, and this showing here in CIF Division II Finals could certainly prove beneficial for not only his college career, but the rest of his high school career.
Well, we took a look and saw what Mark Pryor did. Let's see what Royce Ring can do as he's going up against Nick Guerra. Guerra up to bat, and he'll take the first pitch. There's a drive. Nice snag. Going high. Man, oh, man. Going way high for the Monte Vista Monarchs, Jeff Hankla. And I thought for sure that might sneak down the right field line, but Hankla goes high vertically and snags out number 1. Great defensive play by number 5, Jeff Hankla. Up to bat and taking strike at the knees is David Lotz. Lotz is the second baseman for the Dons.
You know, as a pitcher, Dan, seeing that kind of defense out there with your first baseman making those kind of snags, it only can be reassuring in a game like this.
Nice off-speed pitch. And that goes no balls, 2 strikes with 1 out, bottom half of the first inning. Comes back with some heat That's going to be popped up out of play. They've got it. Purdue, it looked like it was going to drift out into the stands, and give credit to Troy Purdue.
Again, Dan, that kind of defense as a pitcher can only be reassuring. You know you can fire them in there, and if they do get a hit on them, you got a defense out there willing to make the catch. Purdue coming all the way to the fence for that one, just on the far right-hand side of the field and making the grab right at the last minute. A great, great defensive play.
Absolutely right, Clint. Another good, strong defensive play. That's 2 outs now in the bottom half of the first inning, and now up to bat it's Carlos Quinton. Quinton, a drive to shortstop. It's bobbled. Will the throw be in time? It is. So Brooks Conrad does a great job of staying with the ball and throws it out on a play to 63 after 1 full inning of play. No score.
No hits, no errors, nobody left at the end of 1.
Top half of the second inning. At the plate, David Lutz. He's the designated hitter for the pitcher, Royce Ring. And Clint, we've got another lefty at the plate. We'll see what he can do. In there, strike 1. So Mark Pryor picks up where he left off in the first inning, and his first ball thrown is a strike. And once again, Pryor throwing strikes, and boy, oh boy, not only does he, but his coach loves to see what's going on. Swing foul off, so the count stays. No balls, 2 strikes.
Getting out of that last inning, Don, the Monarchs come up with a huge play. Their shortstop, Brooks Conrad, bobbled the ball a little bit, but he fired it in. That's the kind of defense that's needed to win games like this.
Chopper to second base. Nice job once again. Staying in front of it was David Lutz.
Mark Pryor still bringing the heat off that mound. That's a tough pitcher to face. Somebody that brings that kind of heat down to the plate. As a batter, you got to be looking at him thinking, first 3 up in the first inning, all 3 of them struck out, 1 of them flied out. That's a nervous pressure right there.
That was another great play too, Clint, because David Lutz sacrificed his body. That was a hard shot to second base. He kept the ball in front of him, was able to have the time to pick it up and make the out. Nice defensive play. Up to the plate right now, number 23, Wilton Reynolds, and Wilton Reynolds has got some size on him.
Definitely a taller batter, getting that strike zone just a little bit up higher for Mark Pryor. Having a little hard time finding it right now.
Reynolds, a big, lanky kid, got some long legs on him. Nice job. Reynolds holds off on that one. So we go now 2 balls and 1 strike. And I think this is about for the first time that Pryor actually has fallen behind a pitcher so far this game. 3 balls and 1 strike, and trotting out to the mound, Nick Guerra just going to talk to Mark.
A little reassurance from the catcher there. You know, being behind the plate, Nick can see just about everything coming in. He can tell him if he needs to bring it up a little higher, a little farther inside. That's reassuring also for a pitcher. Have a catcher that knows what he's doing back there.
3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Here's the pitch. That's going to be a chopper once again. It's a hard chopper. It's going to get up and over David Lutz. And I tell you what, that one was a tough bounce, Clint, because it hit right at the lip of the grass, and it looked like Lutz was ready for it, but it just bounced a little high.
He judged that, had his glove up, had it ready for it, but it like I said, took that last bounce, just tipped off the high part of his glove, letting it go over his head. It's going to be credited as an error to David, but certainly he made the effort to get there, a good effort to get there. But that puts Reynolds on base. Let's see what the Monarchs can do as far as base running.
So the Monarchs get the first base runner with 1 out in the top of the second. At the plate, David Ludspike. Ludspike, catcher for Monte Vista. We'll see what type of speed Wilton Reynolds has. He's got the long legs to gallop, and we'll see if he puts them to use Ludspike takes the pitch. And that is some heat, and Ludspike late on the swing right there as he was caught off guard. Mark Pryor just blew that one by. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Base runner on at first base, that's Wilton Reynolds. At the plate, David Ludspike. He's got 1 strike against him. Here comes the pitch. Getting back into a set position. You got Wilton Reynolds, base runner, and he's going to keep the attention of Mark Pryor. He now comes off. Pryor's going to go to the plate. Off speed stuff. And that'll be strike number 2 on the foul tip.
Well, with 1 out and a runner on first, as a batter, you got to get something done. But as a runner on the bases, with 1 out, you can be somewhat conservative, waiting for that second out. But with 0 balls and 2 strikes, this could be the second one coming up right here.
Going to have to protect the plate and try and put that ball into play. And once again, you see Mark Pryor playing a little bit with the mind of Wilton Reynolds. Nice drive, center field, getting a beat on it, going back and taking it is Carlos Quinton. Got a lot of meat on the bat. It was a nice drive. That'll be out number 2 for the Dons.
Reynolds certainly had a jump on the bag. You know, you were commenting that Pryor kept looking over him. As a base runner, that can take a pitcher out of his game. That can make him stop, make him think about where that ball's going. And if he's on a hot run on strikes like he was against that last batter, Pryor's stepping off the mound, and Reynolds is being a threat over there on first base. Very, very important as a base runner.
So 2 outs now, top half of the second. At the plate, Matt Asaro. Driving down, and it's going to be foul as it goes off the right line. A little late on the swing, and that's going to count all that action for strike 1. I tell you what, if you notice that, Reynolds was already at third base.
Certainly was. He was rounding second, already at third, and the third base coach had to hold him up. Those long legs can really move him around that baseball field.
Well, now you know why Mark Pryor's got his eye on that base runner, because that guy can fly. So swinging a foul ball is going to give us 1 strike. No balls, 1 strike. We got 2 outs. Still no score. Top half of the second inning. On the mound, Mark Pryor. He had an excellent first inning going 1-2-3. Fouled off, so that's going to go to the count. No balls, 2 strikes.
Pryor's got 2 outs. He's certainly looking to get something done on the field, but these batters aren't giving him any room. They're not afraid to hit Pryor. He's just throwing some heat down that pipe.
You're right, and I tell you what, he's thrown some heat down the pipe, and for the Monarchs, they've actually laid some metal on the bat and had some nice drives. They've been just right to the players, so that one is going to be low, so we're going to have 1 ball, 2 strikes. Still base runner at first base, Wilton Reynolds, and we're going to see if Reynolds is going to be sent here. Let's see what happens.
Reynolds is getting signs from his base coach.
Chopper towards second. Tough play. Safe. Called safe. That was going to be a tough play once again, Clint. That was a slow bounding ball. Racing up for it was David Lotz. Finally got the ball, which seemed like ever to get to him. And by the time he made the throw, close play, but the blue behind first base calls him safe.
Well, Reynolds already tagging up on second base. Questionable. The Dons probably could have gone for the closer base, hit the second, got that lead runner out, and been out of this inning. But they didn't. They chose to throw over to first, and as you can see, resulted in 2 men on now. Monarchs coming up. And Reynolds again with that incredible speed.
Out on the field, Dick Serrano wanting to give his opinion, I think, on the call that was made there at first base.
Well, if you notice, Dan, the Monarchs' first base coach threw his arms up in the air as a safe call before the umpire made it. As Dick Serrano comes out, he might be questioning whether or not who's calling that play.
You're absolutely right. At the plate now, Jeff Hankla. Hankla, first baseman for these Monarchs, and now with 2 out, they've got runners at first and second, and here's the pitch. And right there, I tell you what, I wish we had a speed gun, because Mark Pryor definitely threw some heat right there. Out of the stretch position is Mark Pryor. Men on first and second. Wilton Reynolds at second. Matasaro at first base. And at the plate, that is, Jeff Hankla. Strike two, so now Hankla takes strike number two, and with 2 out, Pryor and the Dons are going to try and get out of a jam right here.
You know, an effective pitcher, Dan, will have a lot of damage control potential, and this is what Mark Pryor's doing right now.
Just outside, so it's 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. And talking about a lot of pressure, you're in a CIF championship game and you got 2 runners on, 2 out. Man, oh man.
Well, Pryor's ahead in the count, and like I said, damage control is very important. With 2 runners on, he's got to get something done here.
Looked like it was almost a check half swing by Jeff Hankla. That's going to be fouled off. The count stays 1 ball, 2 strikes. I guarantee a single will definitely bring home Riddles, because by the time the bat is on the ball, I think he's already at third base.
He certainly was that time. He came around second base. Looked like he was almost going to steal that bag coming over to third, and when the ball was fouled off, that canceled that plan.
1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a drive to center field. It might drop in there. Diving for it is Quentin. Coming around to score, that's going to be Reynolds. Coming in to score as well is going to be Asaro, and with a stand-up double, huge Jeff Hankla.
Hankla took it way deep out there. Monarchs showing they are not afraid to hit the Dons. And like you said, Dan, early in this inning, they were putting some metal on that bat and sending that ball. This time, the Dons just quite didn't have the defense to pick that ball up, and he got a stand-up double.
Well, Hankla definitely hit a rocket out to the alley towards the 370 line. Diving forward, trying to make the play was Carlos Quentin. He couldn't get there in time. It was Andrew Pedix who picked it up and threw it in, but not until 2 runs have scored. And so we've got a score now. Monte Vista, top half of the second, 2. And now out on the mound trying to settle things down is Nick Guerra talking to Mike Pryor.
A big hit like that and 2 runs off of one of your pitches as a pitcher can be kind of disturbing, especially this early in the game. Nick Guerra out there just trying to calm things down, settle it out. Looks like Dick Serrano's also out there to have a little chat with his pitcher. Mark Pryor's a good pitcher. The Monarchs know it, the Dons know it. After that big hit, maybe a little flustered. Got to calm him down, help him find the strike zone once again. Get things done again on the mound. Like said, it's all about damage control. Got to stop any more runs from coming in, get out of this inning, get up to bat, and do it with your metal.
So 2 balls, no strikes to Herrera. Big swing and a miss, so that'll be strike number 1. Count goes 2 balls, 1 strike. Runner at second base, Jeff Hankla. He's been the culprit against the Dons as he had a stand-up double that drove in Reynolds and Asaro, and that's where we have it right now. Scores 2-0. Monarchs, top half of the second inning. Swing and a miss. Looked like caught a piece of it. But finally, the Monarchs go down, but not after 2 runs are scored. So at the end of 1.5, it's Monarchs 2. Coming up at the bat are the Dons.
3 hits, no errors, 1 left.
So bottom half of the second, coming up is going to be number 19, the pitcher, Mark Pryor. And he, of course, Clint, he wants to try and help himself right here and get on base. Nice off-speed breaking ball. That was low at the knees, and that's called strike. So it's no balls, 1 strike, nobody out.
You know, Mark Pryor coming in there with the fastballs, Monarchs being able to hit off him. Certainly the Monarchs are tuning in to Pryor's heat. And like I said, as a batter, he's got to start it off, got to lead off the team, get something done.
Strike number 2 called against Pryor, and just low, and that'll go 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pryor definitely good offensively with the bat. Inside corner, strikeout for the Monarchs, and Mark Pryor goes walking back to the dugout, and that'll be out number 1 for the Monarchs and for the Dons. They'll be coming up now is going to be Eric Stanbra. Stanbra, he's the left fielder for the Dons.
As a pitcher, Royce Ring out there striking out a batter with a .453 average. That's a morale booster. That'll tell you what you can do out there on that plate.
Ring is doing a good job right now of mixing it up. Pryor was out there throwing a lot of heats, and on that last strikeout against Pryor, it was Ring throwing a lot of off-speed pitch. That last one was off-speed, was on the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom half of the second, off speed in the dust, and so that'll be 2 balls and 1 strike. Eric Stanbra, left fielder for the Dons, ready to take the pitch. Off speed again is low. So 3 balls, 1 strike for Eric Stanbra. We'll see if he's got the green light or he's going to take one right here. Nice drive by Stanbra. That's going to drop in front of right field Reynolds, and that's a base hit for the Dons. Had the green light, nice stroke, and so for the Dons, they've got their first base runner. Coming up to bat now, Clayne Collins. Collins, third baseman for the Dons.
Well, when you talk about pitchers, comparing Ring and Pryor, like you said, always consistent with that fastball. Usually had the heat coming down the middle. Ring changing it up a little bit, throwing something else. But you gotta give credit to Pryor for the consistency. He's able to keep it out of the dirt. Ring there had a little bit of trouble on that last batter, getting those balls down low.
Strike called. So with 1 out in the bottom half of the second, the Dons have the base runner of Eric Stanbra at first base. At the plate, Clayne Collins. Collins going to try and move him down, try and get a base hit if he can. At the knees, that's strike 2. So Collins now in a hole, no balls, 2 strikes.
Big ugly one be present. Yeah.
And so Ring, lefty, he's looking directly over at Stanbra right now. Steps off the mound. He'll bring the pitch to the plate. Nice off speed. So there you go again. Ring doing a nice job throwing some fastballs, and then comes back, tries to pull the string and get Clayne Collins going after some off speed stuff, but Collins does a nice job of laying off, so it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
There's one here, there's one at Crown Point.
Another off-speed pitch. Ring, the nice thing about what he's doing right now is he's throwing the off-speed stuff, that is, and it's staying low below the knees. And if you're going to throw the off-speed stuff, you want to keep it low. You got to keep it low below the knees. You get one of those slow pitches coming across chest high, and that can be yanked out of here.
You might want to ask somebody else.
Grounder to third. They got 1 going for 2. Nice double play. So it goes 5-4 to 3, and the Monarchs do a nice job defensively. And after 2 full innings of play, it's a Monarchs 2, the Dons nothing.
For University, the shortstop, number 22, Brooks Conrad.
So top half now of the 3rd inning. Back to the top of the lineup, Brooks Conrad. Conrad suffering a strikeout against the hard-firing Mark Pryor. He takes strike 1, and so it's now no balls, 1 strike. 2-0 is the score. That's a good swing. That fouls way back, so it goes to no balls and 2 strikes.
Dad!
That kind of fastball is hard to hit. Brooks just a little late on his bat, swinging it around and fouling it off. But like I said, Pryor bringing the heat.
That one almost gets away. Nice job by Nick Guerra to snag that one. Brooks Conrad was the victim of one of 3 strikeouts by Mark Pryor in that first inning. He's back up. He's got no balls, 2 strikes. Right in there, called strike 3. And Conrad, for the second time, gets struck out, and that's out number 1. And Pryor, trying to settle back down after that rocky second inning, gets his first strikeout.
Throwing that fastball as Pryor does all the time down the pipes and being real consistent. 7 innings of regulation play. You got to wonder if his arm will keep up that long.
Inside, ball 1, Troy Purdue. Well, we mentioned it in the first inning. It was 1-2-3, so Purdue suffered a strikeout. He's going to come back and try and get revenge against Mark Pryor. Right now, it's 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out, top half of the second. Nice defensive play by the first baseman. And for the Dons, they're able to get out number 2. That was a line shot right towards first base.
That was the first baseman, Andy Marshall.
Andy Marshall out there on first base the second time he's made an outstanding play, stopping the drive of the Monarchs. Last time he got a high ball up to him, snagged that right out of the air, and this time a line drive, and he's taking care of the game.
You're right. Marshall actually, he went high vertically, went down low, so he's really showing his agility out there.
Yeah, versatility is key in a good defense, and there's never an I in teams, certainly. And as a baseball team, you got to get it done as an offense. You got to get it done as a defense, too.
Dons want to get out of this inning defensively and get back to the offensive attack. That's fisted. Jammed inside to Joe Metropolis. He was able to fight it off. Foul ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Mentioned it earlier is that we're at Tony Gwynn Stadium, and it's a great field. Tony Gwynn actually kind enough, he donated about $2 million into this facility to upgrade it this season. Hard shot left field, base hit, and Metropolis once again nails a fastball of Mark Pryor into left field.
Hit by Metropolis. Brings up the designated hitter, number 19, David Lutz.
Metropolis showing the kind of no-fear attitude that these Monarchs have against a pitcher like Mark Pryor. Pryor winning more times than he's lost. The Monarchs taking the bat to the ball.
Off-speed pitch for strike number 1. 2 outs in the top half of the 3rd inning. Monarchs find themselves with the base runner on first. That's Joe Metropolis. At the plate, David Lutz, designated hitter for Royce Ring.
Right there, that kind of look down first base is where Ring comes in handy. As we said, left-handers are a commodity. They look right at first base in their windup.
Nice pickoff move by Pryor. And that's a wake-up call for Metropolis at first base. No balls, 1 strike, 2 out. Another throw to first.
Boy, Pryor is intent on getting that guy out at first. Metropolis with a little bit of a leadoff, and Pryor not giving him any room at all.
This time the pitch comes to the plate. Fastball low and outside, so it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Looks like the Dons learned their lesson by getting 2 people on first and second. They're really doing a bang-up job of keeping that runner on first, not allowing them to steal. There again, Pryor looking back to first base, and the catcher, Nick Guerra, also staring down the first base runner.
Inside throw is going to be into center field. So on the attempted steal, the throw was high by Nick Guerra, went into center field, so safely into second goes Metropolis. And the job's done. Metropolis had a good jump, but the throw was way high. would have been safe anyway. And so with 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 out, we got Metropolis now at second. And ready to take the pitch is the DH, David Lutz. Big swing and a miss, and that's going to do it for the Monarchs. So after 2.5, it's the Monarchs 2, the Dons nothing.
Monarchs in the top of the 3rd inning, no run.
Bottom half of the 3rd inning, at the plate, designated hitter Zach Beach. Behind him on deck is Matt Koken. That'll be followed by Andrew Pedix. On the mound is Royce Ring, and Ring is continuing to throw off-speed pitch, and is doing it effectively because he's keeping it down below the knees.
Again, that comparison between Ring and Pryor. Ring throwing the changeup, throwing the off-speed stuff, seeing if he can catch the batters looking, and Pryor just keeps bringing that heat. Consistency over a little bit of variety. Which one's better?
Just missing, another off-speed pitch. That one actually got up high, it was outside. That was one of the first off-speed pitches that Royce has really left up high in the strike zone. One ball, 2 strikes, and Ring continuing to give Zach Beach nothing but off-speed stuff. Let's see what he does right here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You know, we kind of saw it earlier in that 2nd inning. You know, if you're on beat with a fastball, you can put some metal to it, but this off-speed stuff can really be frustrating. Strike 3 called right at the knees, so setting up with off-speed stuff, and then Ring comes back with a sharp fastball right at the knees, and called out on strikes is Zach Beach.
Go, go, go! The shortstop.
Monarchs pitcher Ring doing an effective job. Ring's been showing great out here, not allowing the Dons to get any metal on the bat, and if they are, the Monarch defense is certainly taking care of business.
Matt Koken now at the plate. Koken, shortstop for the Dons. And on the mound, throwing a lot of off-speed is Royce Ring, and he has been effective. That time it's a fastball that's low, so the count is now 2 balls, no strikes with 1 out, bottom half of the 3rd.
On the coaching side of the aspect, Don's coach Dick Serrano is in here with a 505 wins to 247 loss record, an outstanding record, especially for a high school ball club.
Strike at the knees. I tell you, the blue behind the plate has got a strike zone. We haven't seen really a lot of stuff up high, so don't know how high he goes, but he goes pretty low, right below those knees. Looking like it was inside. Bouncing away, that was Koken, but it's called strike. So now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, and it's Royce Ring doing a nice job of fighting back. Serrano has a great record, doesn't he? 500 and some wins to 200. Wow. I tell you, the Dons themselves really are a successful school in all levels of sports. Off-speed pitch, caught looking, and once again, it's the off-speed pitches that are really causing havoc with the Dons. Matt Koken goes down on called strike 3, and now coming up is Andrew Pedix.
So maybe that answers our question. Is the off-speed stuff better, or is the fastball better? Certainly there have been more hits off of Pryor's fastball than off of Ring's off-speed stuff.
Well, in this inning, bottom half the 3rd, it's been 2 up, 2 down, 2 of them, both outs called on strikeouts. There's a strike right there, 1 ball, 1 strike, and right now, Royce Ring really in control. Drive into right field, that's a base hit. So a nice job by Andrew Pedix, He gets a base hit, and coming up now, top of the lineup, it'll be Nick Guerra.
Well, that's one of the few times that the Dons have actually had somebody on base in running position. Now, as we saw in the last inning, the Monarchs did an effective job of stealing second base. With 2 outs, everybody likes to see a steal, but really there are functional benefits to that. You not only take away the force out, but at 2 outs, you put a runner closer to scoring position than if he's on first base.
Nick Guerra at the plate, he had that sharp liner that went right back to the first baseman, Jeff Hankla, in that first inning, and if it wasn't for Hankla's vertical leap, that would have gone right down the right field line. Fouled off, so the count goes 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out in the bottom of the third at first base, Andrew Pedix. He's got the lone hit of the game now for the Dons, and at the plate and trying to get something going is number 1, Nick Guerra.
Well, as the Dons, you've certainly got to try to get something going at the bat, but if you've got a runner on and 2 outs, you've got to be able to get that guy into scoring position. If you can't get it done on a bat, get it done with a steal.
Nice off-speed pitch just outside, so it's now 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, we're in the bottom half of the third, and you'd say we haven't seen any steals by the Dons yet. It's because this is their first base runner they've had. Ring has done an exceptional job keeping runners off the bases.
Like
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out.
It is a team game out there. Ring doing a great job on the mound, backed up by a stellar defensive field.
To the plate. Drive, it's going to go up the middle for a base hit. Coming around to third base, chugging, and coming through with a clutch hit, Nick Guerra. It was Andrew Pedix on his horses all around second. Third base coach said, come on over. And now with 2 out, we've got runners at first and third.
That's what the Dons needed right there. They needed somebody in scoring position at the bottom of this third. The Monarchs came out early in the second inning, got up there 2 runs, and have been playing some pretty effective defense up until that hit just missed with a short stop and the second baseman bouncing into the outfield. But now it's the Dons' turn. They've got to come back and put some runs on the board, gain up a little confidence, and show they're not backing down from anything.
So with 2 out, up to the plate now, David Lotz. Lotz flied out on a nice defensive play by third baseman Troy Perdue. He went to the fence and snagged away what I thought originally was going to go into the seats. There's that off-speed stuff again, called strike.
Well, the umpire likes the way Ring's throwing, and if I were Ring, I'd like the way the umpire was calling.
Well, Ring really doing a nice job of control. He's keeping that off-speed stuff down at the knees, and it's exactly what you want. Right there again, and that just misses. Just misses, and the count goes 1 ball, 1 strike. Garrett first, Pedix at third, 2 out. Check swing, called strike 2, so it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, with Ring ahead in the count, as a third base coach, you've got to be telling the batter to go on anything. You've got a runner in scoring position, 2 outs, the bottom of the third inning of a 7-inning game. You've got to get something done.
Pitch to the plate. Fastball is just low, so he'd been trying to set him up with the off-speed pitch and wanted to try and sneak a fastball by him, but that time it's low. So the count now, 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 out, runners on first and third. Dons with an opportunity. Base hit brings at least 1 home. Let's see what happens. Chopper to second. That's going to be going to first, and easy play. So it's 4-3 for the final out. 2 base runners left. After 3 full innings of play, Monarchs 2, Dons nothing.
Is that the second baseman?
Top half of the 4th inning. Monarchs at bat, and it's number 23, Wilton Reynolds. Reynolds got on base with the hit. He came around to score, and there's a soft chopper to the second baseman. It's a nice throw by Lotz. That goes 4-3 for out number 1. Pryor's going to love to have an inning like that, go 1-2-3, get out, and get back to the work of offensive attack. They are down by 2, top half of the 4th inning. We play a total of 7 innings regulation. We'll see if we have to go more. Right now, Monarchs 2-0. They had that 2-run blast in the 2nd inning. Nice straight down the middle. 1 ball, it's no balls, 1 strike.
Now the Dons certainly not out of contention in the playoff road to the playoffs. They did come back 3-2 against St. Augustine to come back for the win, so we may not be seeing everything from the Dons.
Swing and a miss, so it's no balls, 2 strikes. Defensively, you've got Pryor on the mound, Guerra's behind the plate, Marshall at first, Lotz at second, Collins third, Koken is shortstop. Left to right fields, it's Stanbrook, Quinton, and Pedix.
Well, there again, we saw Pryor's heat coming in handy, making these Monarch batters get a late swing on the ball and foul it off.
Big swing and a miss. And so David Lutzpike goes down swinging. That's out number 2 for the Monarchs. And now at the plate is going to be Matt Asaro.
Well, here we see Pryor coming back again, starting out that inning huge with a big strikeout. Again, on the road to the playoffs, these guys came back, so they're not done yet.
Pryor actually has had some great success. He went 1-2-3 in the 1st inning, struggled in the 2nd, came back, went 1-2-3 in the 3rd with 2 strikeouts, and the first person he faced bounced out, got a strikeout, and now he's at 1-1 count to Matt Asaro, who's the center fielder for the Monte Vista Monarchs.
Well, the big leagues have certainly got their eye on Mark Pryor. He was a supplemental round pick for the New York Yankees just last week. So he's definitely got a future ahead of him.
Shaking off the pitches, and here it comes to the plate. Let that one go a little early. So the count now, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Asaro came around and scored himself at the knees, and that'll be called strike 3. And that'll do it for the Monarchs after 3.5, 2-0 Monarchs. You're looking at it, you can't miss it. Tony Gwynn Stadium. Tony Gwynn, 8-time batting champion for the Padres, and this was his home turf when he played collegiate ball right here at San Diego State University.
Boy, on days like this, Dan, with not a cloud in the sky, the palm trees swaying, and a slight breeze, this is a perfect day for baseball.
Absolutely right. Up to bat now, bottom half of the 4th inning, center fielder Carlos Quinton. Quinton grounded out 6-3, his first time up. Taking low is Quinton, so that'll be ball 1.
Neither of these teams are done, Dan. Again, coming up and beating out their seed, coming to play in the finals. This shows that these teams both have a lot of heart.
Swing and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And being here in the CIF Division II Finals for the championship, it shows both of these teams know what it takes to get it done.
Nice drive center field, going back, and that is gone. Home run, Carlos Quinton. That thing took off his bat like a rocket, and it never let up. That went off past the 410 mark, easily clearing it, and that's a home run for the Dons.
Well, you know, Dan, nothing like a tater to start off the turn of the tides. Get the rally caps on, get someone out there with a big bat, and that thing went deep, almost dead center field. A great hit by Quinton. Wow, what a bat.
Carlos Quinton
Pitcher
with a huge home run, sends a wake-up call to the Dons, and that really has got the Dons going. And now for the Monarchs, they're going to have a conference call on the mound.
You know, in any sporting event, whether it be baseball or softball, even soccer, football, all it takes is a slight turn of the tides, something very small, a defensive play, a great tater like that one was right there, to change the tide, to start your comeback coming up. It gets the morale of the team going, it gets the coaches excited, it gets the other team thinking, maybe we don't have this one wrapped up just yet. And the Dons have certainly turned the tides here at San Diego State University, Tony Gwynn Stadium.
Well, for Carlos Quinton, that was home run number 9 for him during the season, and it couldn't come at a better time. That pulls the Dons within 1 now, score being 2-1. Bottom half of the 4th inning, nobody out. And for the Dons, it's going to be the pitcher, Mark Pryor. Pryor called out on strikes his first time up in the 2nd inning. Check swing, appeal to the first base umpire. He calls it strike, so that'll be strike 1 against Mark Pryor.
As we had said, Pryor's a terror out there with the bat, too, with 58 RBIs and 15 homers on this season, only 2 behind the record setter.
Off-speed pitch is low, so the count goes 1 ball and 1 strike. Pryor, you're right, does it all, Clint. Super power pitcher and also a power hitter. 15 home runs, that's pretty awesome. There's a drive, it's a soft one. Nice play by the second baseman, Tobias Herrera. I thought that had a little bit more juice on it when it left the bat, but it was a softball heading towards center field. Nice movement by Tobias to take it, and that'll be out number 1 for the Dons.
The left fielder, Eric Stanbraw.
Stanbraw now coming up to bat. Stanbraw got the first base hit of the game for the Dons. It's been the only base hit for the exception of the home run and also the single by Petrix in the 3rd inning.
Just as a side note, the 15 home runs by Pryor comes in just behind a Monte Vista Monarch, Leo Daigle, with 17 as the record setter for CIF.
Off speed down low again. 2 balls, no strikes. Stanbra at the plate. Royce Ring on the mound. He'll send the ball to the plate. 3-0 is now the count. 3 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Stanbra now taking from the third base coach the signals. We'll see what he does, whether he's got a green light or he's going to hold up and take one right here. That's low, ball 4, and now for the Dons, they've got a base runner in the form of number 11, Eric Stanbra.
Third baseman, Clayne Collins.
Clayne Collins, third baseman for the Dons, now up to bat. Collins hit a ball into the shortstop position, was part of the 5-4-3 double play that sharply ended the 2nd inning for the Dons. He'd like to come back and put the ball into play, get a hit, and advance the runners. Looking for a bunt, he's going to take it, and that'll be ball number 1. Royce Ring continuing to keep the ball down low.
Dan, the Dons have got to be hot for this championship. Last year, 1997, they lost by only 2 to Mission Bay in the final round. They've got...
Nice bunt, trying to get there. Good defensive play and a good heads up by Royce Ring. He chose to go the hard route, throw back to second. Tobias Herrera was there and he makes the force, and so that'll be out number 2 for the Dons.
As I was saying, the Dons have got to have title in their eyes. They've got to be yearning for it badly, especially as a younger player, a sophomore, a freshman, a junior on the team. Coming up that close last year, and if you're a senior this year and were there last year, it's got to be important. It's something that'll crown every senior's career.
Zach Beach now at the plate. Beach called out on strikes when he was up in the 3rd inning. Chopper swing late, so that'll foul on the right-hand side. That'll be one strike going up against Beach. So Eric Stanbro was forced at second. Clayne Collins reached first base on the fielder's choice. And that's where we've got it right now. Two outs with Collins at first, and at the plate, Zach Beach. Beach sends a nice ball towards the right field line. Long throw! Called safe. Perdue at third base did his Caminetti style routine. Took the hop on the flip, turned around, had the long throw, not quite in time. And so for the Dons, they're able to get on safely now at first and second, and Perdue, who had a hard throw, is having to stretch out his muscles there. That's a hit for the Dons, and so now with 2 out, runners at first and second, and at the plate, number 10, Matt Koken. Off speed low, ball number 1.
Well, Dan, the Dons have certainly picked up the pace here in the 4th inning with that leadoff home run by Quinton. They've started the bats rolling. They've shown they can hit off this changeup stuff that Ring's throwing in there. They've got 2 runners on.
That time it's in there, so it'll be 1 ball, 1 strike.
Definitely still in the hunt, not backing down at all. Only trailing by 1 right now. 3 innings left. They've still got time to make something happen.
That might drop in for a base hit. It's going to. Rounding third. Coming home is Collins to the plate. Not in time. Base hit. And that brings home Collins, and standing at first base, Matt Koken. Koken had been the victim of a called strikeout in the 3rd inning. Comes up big time, and the base hit brings Clayne Collins around, and we've got a 2-2 ball game. Bottom of the 4th, Don's still up with only 2 out.
And there it is, Dan. There is the comeback with a team with a lot of heart. The Don's showing it off right here. And it's never over until the bottom of the 7th inning when the last pitch has been thrown.
So battling back in the bottom of the 4th are the Dons. They've scored 2. Still have runners at first and second. They'd love to get another base hit to drop and score more.
Now it comes down to the Monarch defense. If another ball does get hit out there, they've got to make the out, take away that last run, and stay tied going into their ups.
Pedix got a base hit last time up in the 3rd. He wants to do it again. Here's the Paul to the plate. Off speed, called strike. No balls, 2 strikes, so Pedix now in a hole. And he's going to have to guard the plate with 2 out. Chopper to second, moving to his left at a nice play. Tobias Herrera, 4-3 is a play, but the Dons pick up 2 big runs. One off the home run by Carlos Quinton, the other coming off a clutch single by Matt Koken. After 4 full innings, the score, Monarchs 2, the Dons 2.
No errors, 2 left.
We got a great crowd here at Tony Gwynn Stadium. We're watching some fine action. Monarchs going up against the Dons, 2-2, top of the 5th. At the plate, taking ball 1, Jeff Hankla. Hankla, first baseman for the Monarchs, and he's had a couple tremendous defensive plays for the Monarchs. Top half of the 5th inning, Monarchs scored 2 in the 2nd. Dons come back with 2 in the 4th. And an attempted bunt down the 3rd baseline goes foul, and now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, as they say, when it's a tie ball game, the score goes back to 0-0. It's time to clear the scoreboard. Everybody's equal. Come up again and start off that leadoff hitting again with the big hits. Get some runners on base and get some scores in.
Called Called strike 3. Nice pitching by Mark Pryor. And that'll be out number 1 in this top half of the 5th inning.
Second baseman, Tobias Herrera.
Coming up now, second baseman Tobias Herrera. Herrera been very busy out defensively. He's had some nice plays. Two balls, no strikes. Pryor has had 7 strikeouts in the game, and the last 3 batters he's faced, he's had strikeouts, 2 of them called strikes. Slow chopper to the shortstop, a long throw by Koken. Good speed on the base pass now, as an infield hit by Guerra.
The shortstop, number 22, Brooks Conrad.
Well, the Monarchs are certainly on key to keep up their winning 15 of their last 18 games in the season. Coming up big, only allowing a couple runs in each game.
Well, they've allowed a couple runs right here. We'll see if we can keep them at bay. By the time Matt Koken got the ball on that slow chopper, Tobias Herrera was really on his horses going towards first. It was a good, strong throw by Koken, just edging out and being called safe by the Blue at first base. And so Herrera and the Monarchs have the base runner on top half of the 5th with 1 out. And at the plate, fouling that rocket off right there, Brooks Conrad.
Well, on the season, Conrad with a .485 average, 10 home runs and 37 RBIs, 28 single base hits. He's definitely one of the Monarchs' leading offensive players here, getting things done at the plate during the offseason, and he certainly got something done today.
No balls, 1 strike. Pryor taking a look over at Herrera at first base. Throw. This time the throw is a little bit more on target. It's a soft one. And scampering back, Herrera, who's really not taking too much of a lead right now.
And after the Monarchs get out of this inning, it may look for a pitching change. Just saw a pitcher, a catcher, and a coach coming out of the bullpen there.
Nice fastball right down the middle. That'll be called strike 2, so it's no balls and 2 strikes to Brooks Conrad. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. What started out really effective with the off-speed pitch by Royce Ring, that last inning, they really started getting the handle of that type of pitch and really put those 2 runs on the board.
Well, coming out of the bullpen there was number 6, Jared Hemus. He was one of Monte Vista's stronger pitchers. 7 wins and 3 losses.
Chopper to shortstop, getting the force at second. Wait a minute, not in time. So trying to make the force at second base was Koken. Lotz was there, but the Blue calls safe, and coming out to disagree for the Dons is going to be the head coach, Dick Serrano.
Well, this is the second time we've seen Serrano out questioning a call of one of the umpires. I don't know, Dan, that was a real close call.
You know, they're that close, you got to give it to the Blue. He's on the field and he's got the eyes. So called safe at second base now is Tobias Herrera. And on the fielder's choice, reaching first base safely is Brooks Conrad. So with 1 out, top half of the 5th inning, Monarchs with runners at first and second, and Troy Perdue, number 14, plays third base for the Monarchs, is at the plate.
Well, we talked about pressure on the players. There's also pressure on those umpires in a 2-2 ball game deciding the title championship of Division II CIF California. Those umpires have got to make the right calls.
Down the right field line, that's dropping for a base hit. Rounding third base, coming in to score. That's going to be Tobias Herrera, and now hung up, going for the plate. He's going to score. Coming to third, he's going to be tagged out, and there is melee on the base paths. So getting hung up on the bases was Brooks Conrad on the overthrow. He left third base, and then he came in to score on what would be a bad throw, you'd have to call it, against the Dons.
It was definitely in the dirt. Head coach Smelko sent his players running around the bases in a big hurry. That last run going in, very questionable. Almost got himself caught in a pickle between the pitcher Mark Pryor and the catcher Nick Guerrera, but it all worked out. Nice base running by the Monarchs. That's the kind of stuff that gets baseball games won.
So Troy Purdue comes up big time, and that's going to be an error against the shortstop, Matt Koken, reaching first base on the error, Joe Metropolis. And right now, things aren't looking very well for the Dons in the top half of the fifth inning.
Dan, this game looks like it can go both ways. Right now, the Monarchs coming out big in the fifth inning with a lot of smart base running, some solid hits, a couple of errors on the Dons, and it's led to 2 more points for them.
DH, number 19, David Lutz.
Look out! Oh, that thing was a screamer. Yeah, I tell you what, you got to keep your eyes open. We've got a pretty good amount of fans here watching the game, and of course this stadium, Tony Gwynn Stadium, really a nice facility to play baseball at. Of course, the Aztecs, Division I collegiate baseball team, plays here.
Wonderful stadium. Not a lot of cover for the fans to hide under when you see a ball coming that fast, though.
That was a screamer, all right. Off speed, that's going to be high. 1 ball, 1 strike. We have to go back because Pryor started out this inning getting a called strike on Jeff Hankla. And then after that, it was a base hit by Tobias Herrera. He beat out a long throw by the third baseman. Then on the fielder's choice, it was Brooks Conrad reaching first. Herrera, with his speed, was able to get under the force in time. And then it was Troy Purdue who laid down what ended up to be a double for sure, cleared the bases. He rounded third in the melee, got tagged out. So that's where we've got the out. Laying off it, so it's going to be 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, David Lutz is a designated hitter, has 8 home runs on the season. Certainly someone to be somewhat afraid of up there as a pitcher. Being a designated hitter, that's your job. Get it done up there.
Strike called. So now it goes to a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Lutz grounded out 4-3 his first time up. Struck out swinging his second time up, and right now he's got a full count. 4-2 is the score. Monarchs out on top. 2 runs in the second, 2 right here in the fifth. And we've got 2 outs. Runners going, fouled off, so he'll have to trot back to first base. Metropolis reached on the error by Koken.
Pryor with a .91 ERA and 88 strikeouts certainly doesn't look to be slowing down out there, but the Monarchs have definitely put some metal on that ball.
Runner going once again, fouled off, and we'll do it all over. So Metropolis getting a workout at first base. He'll trot back for the second time. Count stays 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 out. Top half of the fifth, 4-2 Monarchs.
Well, the Monarchs certainly have come up big in the Division II round and road to the playoffs here.
Runner goes again, this time called strike 3. Lutz is out. But once again, the Monarchs come up big with 2 runs. So after 4.5 innings, Monarchs 4, Dons 2.
2 runs.
And so we have a new pitcher for the Monarchs. On the mound is number 6, Jared Hemus. He will be replacing Royce Ring. Ring doing a nice job today, especially with that off-speed stuff. But now we've got Hemus on the mound, and we'll be right back with you with the start of the bottom half of the 5th inning. 4-2 Monarchs. Top of the lineup for the Dons, it's going to be Nick Guerra, David Lotz, and Carlos Quinton. And in that lineup, you've got Quinton, who had the big home run against Royce Ring. On the mound, pitching Jared Hemus, left-handed pitcher. And now for the Dons, they're going to have to try and start all over again and get used to a new arm out there on the mound.
Well, the Monarch fans weren't happy with that last call by the umpire.
That one low, 2 balls, no strikes.
First pitch coming in. Nick Guerra looked like he got his bat out there to bunt, went down to the first base umpire to see what he thought. He called it a ball.
This time at the knees, and if there's one thing Blue behind the plate's been, he's been really consistent with the strike zone. Right below the knees, he's given the advantage to the pitcher.
Well, Hemus out there, another left-hander for the Monarchs.
Off speed, gets away from Hemus, so that'll be 3 balls, 1 strike.
Looks as though Hemus may have a little more variety in there. I've seen a couple fastballs in there, seen a couple change-ups. Combination maybe of Pryor and Ring out there.
Dons want to come right back in this inning and do what they did in the bottom of the 4th, and that's score a couple runs. They're down by 2, so they need some base runners right now. Chopper to shortstop, trying for it. Tough play by Brooks Conrad, racing to second with a double, and we're going to have to wait and see what the official score is on that one, whether they're going to give a hit or an error to Brooks Conrad. We'll wait for the official. That was a tough chopper. Took a short bounce right in front of Conrad. And we'll wait for the official score. Right now, though, you've got Guerra standing up on second base with nobody out. And now at the plate is Lotz.
Well, official score caller called it a single and an error on Conrad.
Fair call, so there's nobody out. There's a drive. That's going to be a base hit into left field. Coming around, holding up at third. And there's a good clutch base hit by David Lotz. Moving all the way to third base, Nick Guerra. And so now we've got runners at the corners with nobody out.
Well, Dan, certainly with no outs and in a comeback position, that's where you like to be. There's no force out. Only force out is at second base, but a base hit will definitely drive that runner off a third in, making the defense think about where they want to go.
And Clint, look who's coming up to bat right now. Carlos Quinton, who crushed the ball the last time up and sent it over the center field fence. Oh man, what a comeback this would be if Quinton could do it again.
Well, like said, Quinton had 8 homers on the season, 29 RBIs. Certainly a batter to be reckoned with. Let's see what Hemus can do against him.
Runners at first and third, no out. Quinton at the plate. Big swing. Quinton got a chunk of that ball, sent it high and behind the plate, and he took a full swing at that one.
Well, he certainly did. He's definitely giving Hemus something to think about out there on the mound. Coming up with that homer, maybe another one's in his eyes. You never know.
I'm sure Hemus was thinking about that homer when he saw him walking up to the plate. Nice move by Hemus, back towards first base. Getting back is Lotz. Third base, Guerra. First base, Lotz. Nobody out. And Carlos Quinton at the plate. Chopper foul on the third base side. No balls, 2 strikes.
You know, if you're Quinton up there right now, coming after a big center field home run as he had in the last inning, getting things started for the Dons, You got to settle it down a little bit. You got to take a step back and not be swinging for the fence so much. A base hit will drive that run on third in, and that's all you need. Get the inning started again, get that run going. Again, that honor falls to Carlos Quinton. Got it started last time with that homer. Now he's going to hopefully bat that run in there on third base.
Well, you know Quinton's got to have a lot of fun telling his home run story this weekend. Championship Division II game, hits a line shot, drove deep over the 410 wall. And he'd love to be able to add to his story right here. Nice fastball. Right at the knees, Jared Hemus. Just what the doctor ordered. No balls, 2 strikes. The count stays, but there's still nobody out. Runners at first and third. Garrett third, Lotz at first. Carlos Quinton at the plate. And on deck is the pitcher, Mark Pryor.
Well, being Hemus out there on the mound and being ahead in the count, you've certainly got your choice of pitches.
Off-speed changeup, that was high. Going after it was Quinton, and once again the ball remains no balls, 2 strikes.
Well, and there it is. Hemus has got time to settle down, pick which pitch he wants, see what Quinton's swinging at, see what he's not swinging at, and decide what to throw him. He's still got up to 4 pitches to do something with this guy.
To first base. Hemus has got a good move. I mean, you know, Don's going to have to stay close to first base because Hemus has really got a nice move. And you've got Quinton at the plate. You know, he's salivating. He's got 2 men on. He's coming off this huge home run, and he's doing everything he can to keep control of his bat. In the hole, no balls, 2 strikes. Pitch to the plate, and that'll be a swing and a miss.
Talk about a confidence booster right there for Hemus.
Huge play for Hemus. Gets a big out, and that'll be out number 1 in this bottom half of the 5th inning.
The pitcher, Mark Pryor.
Well, not out of the fire yet, not out of the woods. Pryor not coming up real big in the beginning part of this game, but certainly his record says something for his batting skills.
Pryor wants to help his own cause right here. I tell you, we're seeing the same stuff that we saw with Royce Ring right now when it's Hemus is throwing some off-speed stuff. The difference right now, Hemus got to be watching out just a little bit. He's gotten a couple of those off-speed pitches up around the chest, and that could be trouble if he gets it out over the plate, and you got one of the Dons being able to extend their arms on one of those balls. That time it was a nice breaking pitch down in the dirt almost. And that'll be a strike. So no balls, 2 strikes to Mark Pryor. Runners at first and third and 1 out.
Don certainly coming up through the meaty order of their batting lineup. Hemus not out of the woods yet, coming up against Stanbra if he gets Pryor out of there. Stanbra with a couple hits in the past.
Fastball high, so that'll be 1 ball, and we got 2 strikes. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Runner at third. Pryor'd love to bring him home. Strike 3 called. Another huge out by Jared Hemus.
You know, right there, Dan, shows you the smarts on this kind of a ball club. In any sport, be it water polo or whatever, a lot of times the theory is go out big, get your runs, and then all you got to do is play defense. And with Jared Hemus on the mound, the Monarchs are doing a great job of getting these batters out, playing defense, and maintaining that comfortable 2-point lead.
Jared's found nothing but success right now. He's had 2 strikeouts with 2 batters at the plate. Let's see if he can have a hat trick here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Just missing outside. Runner still at the corners, and what looked like was going to be a real promising inning, and now down to the final out in this bottom half of the 5th. Hemus doing a nice job coming back. Again, off speed, bouncing in front of the plate, and they're going to get him. at first base. Eric Stanbrook gets out on a throw of 2-3. 2 men are left, and the Dons' hopes are dashed in the bottom of the 5th, at least for that inning. They've got 2 more to go, but after 5 full, it's the Monarchs 4, the Dons 2. Top half of the 6th inning. At the plate, number 23, Wilton Reynolds, and on the mound for the Dons is still Mark Pryor. Pryor's actually had some great success. He's recorded 7 strikeouts. And right now, against Reynolds, he's got a count of 2 balls, no strikes, but he has flashes of brilliance, but it's been the 2nd and the 5th inning that's given Mark Pryor some trouble.
Well, we can see running right down there. It looks like the Dons are warming up another pitcher. Number 18, it looks like Luis Camarena, the other Don heat smoker out there.
Right to third base. Good, strong throw. That ball goes 5-3, and so that'll be out number 1 for the Monarchs.
Well, as we saw out there, Pryor maybe getting a little bit tired, not throwing quite the heat. Camarena's entered the bullpen. He's got 12 wins and 1 loss under his belt.
Huge record for Camarena. Ball 1 the count. So we've got 1 out, top half of the 6th. Pryor on the mound, but in the bullpen and warming up is Luis Camarena. Ball got by the catcher, Guerra. 2 balls, no strikes. Pitch on the way by Pryor. Big swing and a miss, so that's going to be strike number 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Nice drive. It's going towards the alley and left center. That's going to hit the wall, going to second. And on the relay throw with the stand-up double is David Ludspike.
Well, Ludspike definitely put some aluminum on that ball, taking it way deep out there to 360 on the warning track.
Double by David Ludspike.
So went towards the 360 mark, took a bounce at the warning track. And that was a nice job by David Ludspike. Now coming in to run for Ludspike. We'll take a look and see who it is.
Pitch running for Ludspike at second base, number 9, Justin March.
So number 9, Justin March, comes into the ball game. He relieves Ludspike at second, and he'll be the base runner with 1 out. We've got March at second base, and at the plate, number 4, Matt Asaro. Asaro came around and scored in the 2nd, called out on strikes in the 4th, and here he is up again in the 6th. (4-2), top of the 6th, Monarchs. Once again, the blue calling that pitch, and fans don't like it, but he has been consistent all game long. He calls them low at the knees, and that's strike number 1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. March at second. He's running now for Ludspike. Strike 2 call.
Well, Pryor's turning up the heat again and starting to take those batters on those fastballs. Got in a little trouble there on the first batter, taking him deep into left, but
you know, Clint, Pryor I'm talking about, just right there is you get a base hit off of him or something happens offensively by the Monarchs, and then all of a sudden Pryor comes back and does it again. He strikes somebody out.
It's damage control. You give up one, you take the other one away. Sometimes it takes just that little extra oomph to make you get some speed back on the ball and make you get back into your game. Certainly having a batter hit one that deep on you will do that.
Strike called, so Pryor back in the groove. Hankla for the Monarchs at the plate. Called out on strikes. I think almost everybody on the team of the Monarchs has been called out on strikes by Pryor at least one time in this game. Pryor's had a tremendous amount of strikeouts, but the damage also has been done, especially in that second and fifth inning.
Well, with Pryor throwing that fast on his strikes, sometimes you can only sit back and watch the thing as it goes by, or if you don't see it. He's got a lot of heat coming off that mound, and like I said, he's been consistent with his fastballs, not throwing a lot of junk, not throwing a lot of change-ups or off-speed pitches, just staying nice and consistent with that fastball, and it's been working out for him a little bit.
In the 5.5 or in the 6 innings that he's being pitched here, he has 8 recorded strikeouts, 3 of them by called strike, the other 5 by swinging, so he's been effective, definitely.
Looks like Monarch Coach Smelko's out there with a little plan for his runners and his hitters.
Back to second goes March. So it's 1 ball, 2 strike, 2 out. We're in the top half of the 6th inning, 4-2, Monarchs out in front. Going to third, and it's going to be fouled off. So March had the green light to scoot to third base. He had a nice jump on Pryor, but fouling it off at the plate was Jeff Hankla. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out, and we're going to do it all over again right here. Pryor, quick look at March. March is going again. This time, the throw. He's going to be out of there. Nice throw. Garrett to Collins. So that play goes 2-5, and that'll do it for the Monarchs. After 5.5 innings of play, it's still Monarchs 4, Dons 2. Leading half, the bottom half of the 6th inning, that's going to be Clayne Collins. Strike called, and for Hemus, out on the mound in relief of the starting pitcher, Royce Ring. Chopper to the shortstop. Nice play, and that'll do it. Brooks Conrad going 6-3. That'll be out number 1 for the Dons. So Conrad's attacked that ball, did a nice job taking it on the hop. Had to hurry the throw. It was another slow chopper, and being able to get the out recorded again, 6-3. 1 up, 1 down, bottom half of the 6th. Dons now at the plate, Zach Beach.
Well, Brooks Conrad, one of the top shortstops in the county, is certainly going to be missed by the Monarchs after his completed school year this year. He is a senior leaving the team.
High, ball 1. Shortstops definitely get a lot of action. And of course, with both Hemus and Ring, who like to throw the off-speed pitch that dies at the plate, you're going to get a lot of ground balls. Fighting off an inside pitch. Going for strike 1, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, both teams losing about an equal amount of seniors next year. Monte Vista losing 8, the Dons losing 7. You like to see him go places in the future, but you hate to see him leave your ball club.
Swing and a miss. Strike number 2 for Zach Beach. What happens when you throw the off-speed stuff, you got the batter starting to guess. And right there, Hemus able to throw a fastball right past him, and he comes right back with the changeup. set up with the fastball, comes back, pulls the string, and called out on strikes, Zach Beach.
That's a smart pitcher right there. Hemus out there getting the job done on the mound. Reeled him in and pulled the fish right out the water with that changeup.
Now at the plate, Matt Koken. Koken got on his last time up. Nice swing and a cut at a ball. That was a little bit off speed.
Koken, just a sophomore, looks to come up big for the Dons in the up and coming years. He's certainly made a few plays today, and his bat's been all right.
Nice pitch again. That crossed the plate at the knees and just died into the mid of David Ludspike. And that's going to be no balls, 2 strikes with 2 out. Bottom half of the 6th, 4-2 Monarchs. Just missing that time.
Well, if you're playing on the Dons team, you've got this up, and you've got one more to get it done in regulation play. You've either got to tie it up or go ahead.
Swing got a piece of it, so the count's going to remain 1 ball, 2 strikes.
1 out left in this, the 6th inning. And then you've got, again, your final ups in the 7th. It's time to start bearing down and bringing out that second wind.
Strike 3 called. So Hemus, with the off-speed stuff, setting up his fastball, does the job. And after 6 full innings of play, 4-2 Monarchs. And you're taking a look at the beige building. That's old Peterson Gym. That's been around for a long, long time for the Aztecs and their basketball program. Played many of Division I games right there. Right now, though, across the street, you've got the state-of-the-art, what's called Cox Arena. State-of-the-art facility just completed this season, and both concerts and sporting events being played there. Attempted butt now. That's called strike 1 as it goes outside of the baseline on the first base side. Jeff Hankla is still up to bat. He was at bat when the pickoff at third happened. It was an attempted steal. And David Ludspike, the runner for him was Justin March. And Justin March was called out trying to steal third, and so we've got right here 2 balls and 1 strike now to Jeff Hankla.
Well, as we saw Luis Camarena going into the bullpen, it looks like Pryor got the nod for his senior year to go ahead and finish out the game here in the 6th inning. Nick Guerra coming out to talk to him. They always like to finish out your senior year strong and make a big showing, and Pryor certainly made a great showing here today. As we mentioned before, a pick for the New York Yankees, a supplemental pick in the draft there. Mark Pryor, look for his name in future Major League competitions.
Ball 4 and a walk's drawn by Jeff Hankla. And so in the top half of the 7th, the Monarchs get their first base runner of this inning.
And that brings out Serrano. Had a little talk with the umpire there. Mark Pryor may not last this last 7th inning.
Well, they really wanted to, I'm sure, have him go the full game. He's a senior. He's had a tremendous career with the Dons, and we'll see what happens out there. Serrano's talking to him.
Maybe just trying to settle him down. Pryor's certainly gone the distance today, making a good showing here at the CIF Division II Finals. Looks like they're going to leave him out on the mound. Calm him down a little bit, help him find the strike zone again. Take control of this game once more. Get their 3 outs, get their ups, and see if they can take this ball game away from the Monarchs.
Baseman Tobias Herrera.
Tobias Herrera now at the plate. He came around and scored in the 5th inning. He's looking to bunt and then pulls his back away and slaps at a ball. That goes foul. So that'll be no balls, 1 strike. So with nobody out, on first base, Jeff Hankla, he gets there base on balls. Tobias Herrera at the plate, on deck, top of the lineup, Conrad, Purdue, and Metropolis. Pop up behind the plate, drifting out of play, and that'll be strike number 2.
Herrera, another senior on the Monarch squad. As an opponent looking at that, that's a good thing, getting the starting lineup of seniors out of there. But as a team, again, you hate to lose some of the talent that seniors provide, but you feel good for them when they do something big in the future.
No balls, 2 strikes to Herrera. Looking to bunt again. This time he thinks about it, lets it go by for a ball, so it'll be 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, Dan, both teams here at the Division II playoffs have certainly won their way up here, and although there can only be one winner here today at the park, both teams have really come up big and made an outstanding showing and a name for themselves.
Nice bunt. The throw is into center field, and so Pryor with the error, and safely moving into second base is Hankla, and on the fielder's choice, it's Herrera on at first. So nobody out, runners at first and second, and now coming up is Brooks Conrad. Conrad reached on a fielder's choice safely in the 5th inning. He came around and ended up scoring one of the 2 runs that the Monarchs did score in that 5th inning.
Well, let's see if Pryor goes back to his old ways. As we've seen, he's let one go, and then he's come right back to strike out the second.
Getting into center field and racing to third. Runners advance. So again, Pryor makes the turn and tries to pick off the runner at second base. Ball squirts through to the center field, and both runners advance. So now the Monarchs looking good. Nobody out, top of the 7th. Runners at second and third. And now moving to second base is to first base is Conrad.
Well, Dan, this is certainly a turn of events the Dons weren't hoping for, but if they're going to pull this game out, they can't get down on themselves. They've got to pick their chins up out of the dirt and get it done.
Bases loaded, nobody out, top half of the 7th inning. Conrad draws the walk, and so he's at first. Herrera's second. Hankla's at third. And at the plate, Purdue sends the ball to left field. That's going to be deep enough to drive in the run from third. And for the Monarchs, they put another run on the board. So a sacrifice fly to left field by Troy Purdue results in an RBI for him.
Well, Dan, the Monarchs would certainly be a great candidate for this Division II title. They have not won a CIF title in their history. They were playing Division I just before this year in 1997. The last time they were at a CIF final was in Division I in 1990. Coming up with the Division II title now would be an excellent, excellent finish.
Strike called on the first pitch to Joe Metropolis. Metropolis reached first base on an error, got a single, and then flied out his first time up. So he's 1 for 2 in this ball game.
On that side? Can you point her out?
Taking it low is Metropolis.
Oh, see, I thought it was coming from over here in front of me.
1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. 5-2, Monarchs. Runners at first and second. Ball to the plate. Holding up on the swing is Metropolis, and so he's got a count of 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, the Dons down by 3, of course. It's certainly not a score that's uncombatable.
Pitch is fouled back, so the count's 2 balls, 2 strikes. You're right, it's not insurmountable by any means, but I tell you what, you don't want to be down by 3 runs with only 3 outs left in the game for you. The problem is, Clint, you got Jared Hemus on the mound still, and he's been just as effective with that off-speed stuff as was Royce Ring. So the double steal is on and making it to third base. Herrera moving to second on the throw is going to be Brooks Conrad, and so the runners move up. Very aggressive play by the Monarchs, and right now they've got no holds barred. They're just laying it all out on the line.
Again, Dan, the Monarchs utilizing that effective base running, taking both of their runners, putting them in scoring position and out of harm's way of a force out with 1 out here in the 7th inning.
Drive deep to center field, going back, can't get it is Carlos Quentin, and coming around to score and rounding up a triple is Joe Metropolis. Conrad comes around to score, Herrera comes in to score, and that's 2 more for the Monarchs, and now they extend their lead, and oh, doctor, 7-2.
Metropolis, a freshman, coming up with that big triple. Man, if you're Smelko right now, you're looking for big things to come from that kid. Only a freshman on the Monarch squad already coming up, starting in the CIF final game.
Metropolis sent that ball deep on the horse, and making the turn towards the wall was Carlos Quentin, but it was up and over his head, and by the time the dust had settled, 2 more runs had scored, and you found Metropolis at third.
Well, Quentin almost watching a replay of his hit earlier in this game. Way deep to center field out there by the 410 mark.
Still 1 out. Another drive, base hit, left field. Coming in, Metropolis will score, and with the base hit is David Lutz.
Well, Dan, you mentioned that the Monarchs are going no holds barred now. In their position, upsetting their seed the first time they're here in the finals. After they won that game, coming up to the finals, in the semifinal round, really, they won it right there. They've got nothing to lose from there on out. They've made an outstanding showing here in Division II, coming down from being a Division I school, and now they're turning on the juice and showing this crowd why they got here.
Mark Pryor still on the mound for the Dons. He's gone the whole way. And Mark's had some exceptional innings. First inning got him going 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts. Had some trouble, 2 runs scored in the second. In the third, he came back, got a couple strikeouts, and into that inning with no scores. Sailed through the 4th inning, 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts. Got into trouble in the 5th, but then came back again in the 6th with a strikeout. And now he's in the 7th, got a little bit of trouble. And Mark Pryor's still out on the mound, and for Coach Serrano, he's going to keep his senior out there.
Well, Dan, if you are the Dons, you can look at the game 2 ways. 1, you've just got a little obstacle to overcome to win the game, or 2, the damage has been done and you're not going to make it back up. And you never want to see players get down, but with a 6-run lead in the top of the 7th inning, the last inning in regulation play, you can't help but wondering to yourself, could it be over?
Well, Price just has to worry about getting out of this inning. There's only 1 out. You got the runner at first base. Reynolds at the plate. He'll take a strike, so it's 1 ball, 1 strike. 8-2 the game, top half of the 7th. Monarchs out in front. Reynolds at the plate on deck. David Ludspike. He was replaced by the pinch runner, Justin March. So let's see who's out on deck. It's probably going to be March then. Holding off on the high ball. Reynolds trying to lay off it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Smelko again giving runners sign over there at first base. Monarchs proving that they have the base running skills to get the job done.
Lights have come on here at Tony Gwynn Stadium. Starting to get a shadow across the third baseline. It's creeping up behind home plate as well. Chopper to second, making a nice throw. No! Trying to stretch out. And what looked like was going to be an easy throw by David Lotz ends up to be an error, pulling off Andy Marshall. That's an error. And so ending up at third base now is Jason Griffin, who came in as the pinch runner. So still with 1 out, it's Griffin at third base. Reynolds now at second, and David Ludspike is going to be batting. Late swing and a miss on that pitch.
Well, we've certainly seen an upstart of the Monarchs. They came out big, and they've held the lead, and they've never given it up throughout the game. But here in this last couple innings, they have really, really turned on the thrusters here.
8-2, Monarchs out in front, top half of the 7th inning, and we still only have 1 out in this inning. Pryor has gone the whole distance for the Dons.
Well, the Monarchs and their scores have certainly shown that they can dominate. 11-1 versus Ramona in the first round.
There's a drive. Center field moving to his left and taking it. And tagging up on the throw is Griffin. Griffin will come in to score. So a nice sacrifice fly by David Ludspike. Ludspike gets an RBI on that one as Griffin running for David Lutz comes in. And now it's 9-2 Monarchs.
In the quarterfinals, Monte Vista 3, Hilltop 1. In the semis, Monte Vista 7, Montgomery 1. Keeping everybody to a 1-run
Center fielder,
score. And now widening their lead even further here in the 7th inning.
Swing and a miss by Asaro. Asaro got on and scored in the 2nd, called out on strikes in the 4th, struck out in the 6th. And so Pryor has been effective at times, but right now the strength of the bats for Monarch have extended this lead out to 9-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Dons want to get out of this inning.
And if you're the Monarchs, all you have to do when you get out of this inning is play defense. You've got the run, you've got the cushion. Just time to settle down, play your defensive game, and the title could very well be theirs.
On the move from second on that pitch was Wilton Reynolds. He had a great jump on Pryor, fouling it off at the plate, Matt Asaro. So going back to second base is Reynolds, and the count remains no balls, 2 strikes.
Again, Reynolds the base runner, and as a base runner, the kid is lightning fast. As soon as that ball's off that bat, he's already tagging the third base.
Pitch to the plate. That's going to get through for a base hit, rounding third, going to come home. Here's the throw, cut off. Reynolds comes around from second to score on the base hit by Matt Asaro. And the score now, Monarchs 10, Dons 2, and still with 2 out.
A smart play there by the Dons, cutting off to the first baseman out from left field, or right field, excuse me. And we've got some commotion out here on the field. A pitching change for the Dons. So it looks like Luis Caminera is going to come out and close out this 7th inning.
Jeff Hankloff.
So on the mound now, replacing Mark Pryor is Luis Camarena. Throw, off-speed pitch, gives plenty of time for Herrera, that is Asaro, to get to second base. So Luis Camarena, Clint, has had a great record, at least during the regular season.
Well, looks like he might be the Dons variety man. He didn't come out firing the fast pitches like Pryor did. He came out with an off-speed pitch, and it could very well be that he's their variety guy. Try to close out here this 7th inning.
Camarena, a senior, 5'11", 165, a right-handed thrower. That's strike number 2 on the off-speed, dying at the knees.
Camarena with 12 wins and 1 loss, we mentioned earlier, and an ERA of 2.69.
Swing and a miss. That'll be strike 2. So now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Runner still at second base. Matt Asaro. In the dirt, gets by. Moving towards third base is Asaro, so he moves up closer. Except for Mark Pryor, Camarena, and then, of course, both the pitchers for the Monarchs. We're talking about Royce Ring and Jared Hemus threw a heck of a lot of off-speed stuff all day long. On the ground, moving to his left, picking it up is the third baseman, Clayne Collins. Nice throw, 5-3, and that'll finally do it for the Monarchs. But they score 6 big runs, and at the end of 6½, it's Monarchs 10, the Dons 2. Bottom half of the 7th inning, at the plate, Andrew Pedix. Pedix bunts and fouls, so that'll be strike 1. On the mound for the Monarchs, number 6, Jared Hemus. And he wants to close this one down and put it into the record books and give the Monarchs their first ever CIF championship win. 3 outs away, Clint.
Well, Hemus is certainly the guy to get it done. He made a great showing when he came in.
And I tell you, that right there has been the nemesis of the Dons all day long. Off speed, off speed. It's really kept them at bay.
Well, and Hemus has certainly been bringing a variety of pitches to the mound.
That one's low, so it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Andrew Pedix is at the plate. Nick Guerra, followed by David Lotz and Carlos Quintin, the next scheduled batters. Fastball swung and fought off, so the ball and count same, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Off speed and outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. So the last time Monte Vista had been in the CIF championship game was back, like you said, Clint, 1990 against Mira Mesa. Grounder on the to second base and in time. So it's a super job by Matt Asaro to keep that ball in front of him. Check that, Tobias Herrera. So Herrera goes down and does exactly what you're taught when you're a young man, Clint, and that is keep the ball in front of you. Use your chest as that body shield. Keep it in front of you, pick it up, and you got time to make the play.
Well, certainly the Monarchs have shown great fundamentals out here on defense and as well on offense, base running included. And in part, that is due to their success here. Those fundamentals have brought them up through the ranks, and now they're on top.
1 up, 1 down for the Monarchs. And at the plate, Nick Guerra, he's the catcher. Guerra reached safely with the base hit last time up in the 5th. Right back to the second baseman, Herrera. He throws it over, and once again, 4-3. So now for the Dons, they're down to their last out. And that's going to be up to David Lotz to try and keep this thing alive.
Well, right now, Dan, if you are the Monte Vista Monarchs, you are on top of the world. Their first CIF title in baseball here at the Division II Finals. and they are 1 out away from it. And they have got to be excited. They've got to be just biting their fingernails off, waiting to get that last out.
Well, you see the team, the coaches over there on the sidelines. I think you're right, Clint. They're biting the bullet. If they get this last out here, they are going to be bolting out onto the field in celebration. Big swing and a miss by David Lotz.
Well, if you're a Monarch, that's the way to start it out, with your pitcher firing them and the batters taking the bait.
Off speed, just missing. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out. Bottom half of the 7th, the Dons down to their last out. Score Monarchs 10, Dons 2. That one will be taken low as well. If it's not the pitching of the Monarchs, it's been the defense. They've come up very nicely with a lot of grounders. There's a sharp one. This time we're going to keep this game alive. Coming up with the hit is David Lotz. And so for the Dons, they send another batter to the box.
Well, like we said earlier, Dan, it can take the slightest thing to turn a ball game around. Staring down an 8-run deficit, however, the Dons have got to turn it around in a big hurry and get it done.
Well, if there's anybody that can do it for the Dons, at least to put a spark back in this game, it's Carlos Quinton. Quinton had the crushing home run in the 4th inning, and he'd love to do it again right here. Outside and high, so he'll take ball 1.
Well, Monte Vista has truly come up big here.
Hey, Balky, what's up? Hey, who's winning here? What up, man?
Outside, ball number 2, so it's 2 balls, no strikes. At first base, David Lotz. At the plate, the home run hitting Carlos Quinton. On the mound, Jared Hemus. And that's a drive, but it's up in the air. It's shallow left field. Calling for it is the center fielder, Matt Asaro. And that's going to do it, and you can see the jubilation out on the pitcher's mound.
The Monarchs.
You're right, the Monarchs.
Certainly very happy with that win, and Asaro with the final out. They have got to be ecstatic. Their first CIF title, bringing it home to Monte Vista. The fans are excited. The players obviously excited.
And you only just have to worry no one gets crushed in the pileup on the pitcher's mound.
Well, and if it is, make sure it's one of the freshmen. A little extra hazing there at the end of the year. A little something from the seniors.
Absolutely, a super pitching performance. Combined Royce Ring and Jared Hemus limits to the Dons, who have traditionally been a good offensive team, just 2 runs. And of course, the offensive attack for the Monarchs was tremendous. 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 5th, 6 in the 7th, and of course that goes in the record books with the final score. Monte Vista Monarchs winning the Division II championship by a score of 10-2.
And as we say, as the teams say goodbye to each other out there, certainly a disappointing loss for the seniors on the University of San Diego High School Dons. And certainly something they have to come fight back for. Last year, they lost that again to Mission Bay in the final game. Again, they lost it to Monte Vista Monarchs here at the 1998 Division II CIF Boys Baseball Championships.
Well, that's it for us after 7 full innings of play. The final score, the Monte Vista Monarchs 10, the University of San Diego High School Dons 2. The Monte Vista Monarchs crown the 1998 CIF San Diego Section Division II High School Baseball Champions. On behalf of George Langevin Sports Video Productions, I'm Dan Williams along with Clint Bell. We're going to be coming right back with some post-game interviews. Again, congratulations to the Monte Vista Monarchs.
16, Ryan Jones. Number 1, Dick Guerra. Matt Hogan. Number 11, Eric Sandrock. Number 12, Andy Marshall. Number 13, Zach Beach. Number 17, Andrew Pettis. And number 19, Mark Pryor. Coaches for the Dons, assistant coaches Gary Winnifer and Steve Walker. The head coach, Dick Serrano. Give a nice hand for the University of San Diego Dons, the CIF 1998 Division II runner-up.
Just started facing. We have it? We haven't called, we're calling the kids first. The kids go first? Yeah, get it back there. That one. Way to go, Mark.
I'm Clint Bell here standing with Royce Ring of the Monte Vista Monarchs. Royce, an incredible game out there on the mound. Started off huge and you came through and you won the. How do you feeling?
I feel great. I mean, this is what it's all about, CIF. Hey, everybody's excited. You gotta like this. It's great.
Your senior year, correct?
No, junior.
Junior year, so you got one more coming back.
Got one more.
All right, and
Come back again.
Came up through 4th seed in the Grossmont League, first time in Division II. Your first time in CIF in 7 years, I believe.
Yes.
Last time was in 1990. You guys were up by 2, and then they came back and answered you. How'd you feel?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I knew we'd come through off this guy, you know. I mean, he throws hard and everything, but I knew we'd catch up with it. We've been hitting well lately, and we just did it.
All right, well, thank you very much, Royce. Congratulations, an excellent game out there. I'm Clint Bell here with
Bruce Conrad,
Jeff Hankla.
a couple of the fielders out here for the Monte Vista Monarchs CIF 1998 Division II champions. Gentlemen, champions, how do you feel?
Unbelievable. I mean, it's just amazing. We've been working for this, you know, my whole year in high school. I don't know what to say. It's a feeling I can't describe, you know. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Pretty speechless also, you know. we just put in so much work for this and finally got it. You know, he's been here 4 years. I've been up here, you know, 2.5 years. I don't know, it's an unbelievable feeling. You know, we've strived for this forever.
You guys came back big in the 5th inning and again in the 7th inning. What did the coach tell you when you guys were tied up 2-2? What spurred you on? What gave you the fire?
He just said that he brought us all in and he said, hey, you know, I love all you guys. And however the game turns out, if we lose, we win, you know, it doesn't matter. We've worked so hard. You know, he's going to be proud of us either way, you know. So that inspired us. I mean, we were inspired anyway, but that's just, you know, kicked us in the butt, and we scored a lot of runs. So, I mean, that was a big lift right there. I mean, it's picked us up a lot. I mean, that's all I got to say. I mean.
Yeah, he got the bugs out of our head, you know. I don't know, he got us unnervous or whatever, jittery, you know. He just told us to go out and do what we could do the best, you know, and we went out and hit the ball.
Gentlemen, your bats came through, your fielding was excellent, and to you, the 1998 Division II title. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Matt Asaro, the last out of the game out there in right field. 3rd out, how are you feeling?
Pretty good. I'm just happy to come away with this. We've worked really hard all year and for many years now, and it just feels great to, you know, have a CIF championship. We've worked so hard for this, and I'm just happy for my whole team.
You've obviously got a lot of fan support out here. You guys seem like a real tight-knit team. Are you a senior?
This is it. That was my last game right there.
What a way to finish it up. I mean, it's got to be great. The Division II championship, you guys have got to go home proud.
It feels so good. It really does. It's the best feeling I've ever had right here.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, and good luck in your future career.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Standing with me is Jared Hemus. I saw you over there with all the other reporters. You're kind of a popular guy right now, huh?
Hey, just doing my job out there.
What's the type of pitch that you're throwing effectively out there today?
The key is getting the curveball over for a strike and getting my fastball inside and not leaving it over the plate.
Your curveball, both of you guys, Royce and yourself, were keeping it down low, too. Yep. Very effective today.
That's very key. And spotting your fastball down, keeping your fastball down, and don't hang your curveball. You know, it's got to keep it below the knees, bounce it in 3rd if you have to.
You know, Mark Pryor on the other team was throwing heat. You guys connected off of him. Did Coach have it all set up that you guys were going to throw that off-speed pitches all day today? Or is that your call on those pitches?
Oh, no, Coach is calling the pitches, and,
okay.
You know, he's one of the smartest guys I know, so he's go with every call and try to get that pitch over.
Well, congratulations on a great win. You were effective those final innings and shutting him down as well. 10-2, and congratulations on the '98 championship.
Thanks a lot.
Excellent. Jared Hemus, he is one of the pitchers for tonight, ends up getting the win, right? Get the win tonight?
I don't know.
Who cares, right?
Yeah,
it's a whole team
team
effort.
got the win, huh?
Tag team effort,
yep.
Definitely so. Congratulations again.
Thanks.
Very well, you have to say today, Clint, that it was the finesse pitching over the power pitching, which was the key factor today.
It certainly was. In the beginning of the game, we were questioning whether the constant heater or the ever-varietous change-ups and off-speed pitches were going to win. Looks like the variety took the championship this time.
Well, we got to give congratulations to the Dons. They actually stuck it out, and it was that big 7th inning that scored the 6 runs that really blew it open.
Definitely, the Dons kept it very close all the way through the game, playing an excellent defense followed by some great batting out there. But the Monte Vista Monarchs just came through in the 7th and went up huge.
The final score in 7 regulation, it was the Monarchs 10, the Dons 2, the Monte Vista Monarchs gaining their very first ever CIF championship title.
As a first, that's got to be incredible for the guys. A lot of them were quite elated and just ecstatic about the win, and they deserve it. They played with a lot of heart. They played superior baseball out here today, and congratulations to them.
And that'll do it for us. On behalf of George Langevin Sports Video Productions, along with my partner Clint Bell, I'm Dan Williams. As always, we'll see you again.